Portillo. I've been married 51 years, Teddy Portillo. I have a son, a daughter, and I have 3 grandchildren. I moved here from Florida 6 years ago, and I love the area. I never knew that there were people as nice as where I live, and I'm not a politician at all, but I think that everybody should be involved in their communities and in their governments. And I worked for the same company for 18 years. I was an executive secretary in public relations. I was Homeowners Association president for 10 years, where I lived. And I am block captain for the city of Nelson's Crime Watch. And the reason that I'm running for council, I attended several council meetings in the city of Nelson, and there was nothing done. All I saw was arguing. The mayor against the council, and the council against the mayor. And I think that I could bring some sense of togetherness to the council that we have. And that's about it.
Thank you. Mr. Jarrett.
I'm Jarrett, and I sort of got drawn into this and everything. Not everybody I know has either been on the city council or been the mayor, and it's just that small a town, you know. So I lived around Tate and Nelson about all my life. I've also lived here in Kenton for a short period of time. And I sort of figure that you got to work with your community and everything too. I've done that several different times. You know, Desert Storm, when it come through, me and my lodge and everything, we got Nabisco to bring trucks down there. We had pizza parties, made up canned goods and stuff like this to take to the armory where the families would have food to eat while their husbands and wives was over there at Desert Storm. I've done a lot in the community, and I've never asked anything much of it. I'm in the entertainment field. I build houses, but I've played music. I've been a member of the Actors Guild, and so I have the JCs up in Jasper and everything several different times. And I agree there's a lot of bickering going on in the city council. I don't know that I can do anything to stop it or anything like that way, but I would like to take a look at it and see if we can get all of them to come to common ground. Right now, it almost sounds like Lower Lake and Nelson is 2 different places, like the north and the south fighting, but it's not that way. We're all a part of one city, and we're going to have to come together one way or another to make it prosperous. That's just the way it is.
Thank you, Mr. Jarrett. I appreciate it.
The first sentence of the first question goes to Mrs. Portillo. The city of Nelson has roughly 1,300 people. Do you think the current police force of 1 officer is adequate, or should the city consider hiring another public safety worker?
I think that we should have another police officer. We have one now. And in one of the meetings that I attended, they had approved a part-time officer, which it hasn't come to, they haven't hired anybody at the moment. But I do think that there should be at least 2 officers. It's a very tranquil community. It's you have a feeling of safety. But we had an accident just recently of a child that was hit by a car, speeders, and I think that should be addressed.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yeah, right at the moment, our current police officer seems to be doing pretty good. I would agree that we probably could use a part-time police officer and maybe stagger their time around where people wouldn't know exactly when they was working, because that's the problem right now. They know when they're working, so they only speed when they figure heat is off duty. But yeah, we've got things worked out right now pretty good for the time being. We're covered by Cherokee and Pickens County when Heath is not there. And what she mentioned about the child being hit, it wasn't a question of speed on this particular accident, although I live on Pickens Street, the street they're talking about, and there is a lot of speeding can take place on. I've talked to Heath. Heath has started, he's a pretty good guy. He likes to give people warnings, and I said, Heath, you're going to have to quit giving warnings. You're going to have to start giving tickets and let that message get around. I said, well, maybe they'll start slowing down some. So, yeah, we've had a problem with speeders. It's a pretty busy street, heavy traffic and everything, but people's going to have to tell their kids to remind them to stay out of the road. So.
Mr. Jarrett, the city has had problems with enforcing owners to keep their properties clean. Do you believe this needs to be focused on? And if so, what actions would you take to ensure clean properties in Nelson?
Well, yeah, I think the property ought to be pretty well kept clean. People let it go down, and I guess they think, well, it's only hurting me, but it's not. It's hurting the homeowners around them. It's bringing the value of their properties down when they don't keep theirs up. It also makes good dens for rats and snakes and everything like that, you know. So I think it ought to be took care of, and I think that, you know, probably as far as grass cutting or something goes, I don't know, maybe we should hire a gardener or something other to come in and cut it like they do in some northern countries and states and stuff, and just send them a bill and put a, you know, lien on the property if they don't. And I don't like trumping on anybody's constitutional rights, but they don't need to be trumping on mine and my neighbors too.
Ms. Portillo?
I'm under the impression that they had spoken to the owners of these properties, and I myself have seen when you go into Nelson, they had properties there that were really, really terrible, you know, the first impression when you went into Nelson, and they've been fixed. And but I think that they should let the owners know first instead of, you know, going right in and doing what they have to do. But they do have to clean up those properties.
Mrs. Portillo, do you want to see Nelson be more of a pro-growth community, or should it remain more rural? Additionally, what new projects would you like to see constructed, and what would you do to attract businesses into the city?
What I've learned in the time that I've lived there, that the people that live there really don't want any changes at all. It's a beautiful community, and I personally, that's what I like about the area, the people, the quaintness of the area. But you have to accept new people, new faces, new ideas. There's absolutely no promise there. We have ball ground, which is the main thing for everything there. And I personally, like Jackie also said this in another meeting that we had, I would love to see a civic center. They have several buildings there which are not being used at all. And I would like to see it for different, as he said once, you know, to have music, to celebrate different holidays, to get to know your neighbors, and that sort of thing.
Mr. Jarrett?
Well, Nelson's such a small place, I don't think we could grow very much in it. You go at 575 or 515, you never know we're there. But growth is going to take place. I mean, we already are. We've got, she's talking about people just moving in and stuff. We've got several new subdivisions here. Just all of a sudden, it's like overnight, you know. And I'd like to see maybe a small store come in to where you can at least get a jug of milk and a loaf of bread without having to crank up your car and drive 5 miles to get somewhere, you know. And yeah, I've been sort of pushing for a community building or something that way. We have got a grant for Cherokee County, is my understanding, for $250,000 to try to help fix our baseball field. Our field's in a mess the way it is right now. I would like to see a place where the kids could, start having baseball games, and we're going to put a pavilion in there. My understanding is, and I've been there and talked to them, met with them, and everything too. And so then we'll have a place that we can all get together, have family reunions, and I'd like to see the city have some kind of festivals or something there where Lower Lake and Winchester and Nelson Oaks and all those, we can all learn about one another. That's the problem right there. We don't understand one another because we haven't had a chance to get together, So and the older people that's there, they're fixed in their ways, and they're used to the ones that's there. So that's just the way I see it. I don't want to see it grow much.
Mr. Jarrett, what do you think of the charter changes enacted by the City Council last year that stripped the mayor of his personnel powers, which included the ability to hire and fire city employees? Secondly, the mayor and some council members have had issues seeing eye to eye. What would you do to promote a more peaceful environment at City Hall?
I don't know. Bring riot police in or something maybe. It's hard to comment on the city council stripping the mayor of his powers. I have a lot of faith in them. There was a majority of the city council that did had to vote to strip him of his powers, or they couldn't. And it's hard to comment on it because I don't really know what all their thinking was. I have a lot of confidence in them. I'm sure if they stripped him of their powers, they had a reason for doing it. It's going to be hard, I think, getting some kind of order in there, but we are going into a new council, so maybe that'll make a big difference. I have no earthly idea beyond that.
Thank you. Ms. Portillo?
I'm not in favor of a strong mayor, and I'm not in favor of a strong council. And what I've seen is that the council now has all the power. There are 5 council members and 1 mayor. And I don't see, with 5 council members, why would you want to strip the mayor of all his powers when there are 5 council members that can make a difference? And I believe that that always, the truth always lies in the middle. It's not on one side, it's not on the other. It's smack in the center. And power can't be given to one side ever, as we all know. And I just think that the way it is now, there are 5 council members there, but there's one that rules the roost